Cycling for me has never been about the bikes. They've only ever been the prerequisite tool. I do not see just a bike race, I see riders on heroic journeys and warriors doing battle. At one point, cycling was the most popular sport in Europe because newspapers told magnificent tales about epic races and crafted the great champions into legends. But with the advent of television, cycling lost some of its mystique, and that golden age of journalism and narration has perished. So now let us try to return some romance to the beautiful sport. Let us praise and give glory to phenomenal performances to be remembered for decades to come. Let us dwell on the moments that inspire and move us. Let us chronicle the rise and fall of heroes. Let us chart these life-changing journeys, these cycling odysseys. Alright, welcome back to another episode of Cycling Odysseys. I'm your host, Patrick Santino. Today we are previewing Strade Bianche. So, as usual, we're going to jump into the description first. I actually re-recorded this one and made a few minor tweaks to it to make it sound better, I guess. But anyways, I'll tell you the character of it. I'll also tell you what I think of its status. Classic, 6th monument. I'll get into all that. And then after that, we will preview the 2022 edition really quick. Of course, my previews are not actually picking winners. It's more just saying what I might want to happen or would like to see happen. So with that, let's jump in. Strade Bianche, the new kid no longer, but neither the 6th monument. What makes a classic? Yes, this is the perennial tricky question. A standard answer typically involves a dynamic, long, and an exciting route. Dynamic, as in not so straightforward route. There must be some sort of iconic characteristic or challenge, such as, for example, cobbles or brutally steep climbs. Long, as in length. A classic should always be a great test of hardy endurance. Exciting, as in cheering roadside fans pumping adrenaline into the riders and those watching on television's veins. Exciting, as in passages through or by exotic or revered cycling or cultural locations, both natural landscapes or pinnacles of architecture. Exciting, as in the route is designed to promote thrilling or finely balanced racing that leaves us in suspense for much of the broadcast. All of these parameters, Strade Bianche oh so assuredly lives up to. Its key unique challenge is in the race name itself, for Strade Bianche literally translates to white roads. Yes, the iconic white roads, made of that special white gravel, oh how unique they are. Surely, they are a challenge on the flat and quite the ordeal when they pitch up to well over 15% in gradient in certain places. And unlike the Cobbled Classics, there is no initial stretch of leg-softening early flat kilometers to ease the peloton into racing. Here, from the flag drop, the riders are positioning and preparing for the first sector of gravel. In extreme conditions, either wet or basked in summer heat, how treacherously brutal the white gravel can be. Loose and chokingly dusty in the heat, slippery and mushy and muddy, rooster tails streaming in the wet. Both are quite a spectacle to see when the conditions reach such extremes. Yes, the scorching August edition in 2020 will long be remembered, and the editions in the wet. Few will forget how ghostly looked the riders who crossed the line spattered front and back with that white gravel. I tell you, like Dickens's Jacob Marley ghost, they all looked crossing the line with extreme exhaustion haunting all their faces. Yes, even in a relatively dry spring edition, though the race is always short of 200 kilometers, the white roads tire these riders out so. All the finishers surely earn their wages for completing the race this day, no matter their placing. And as for iconic locations and scenery, oh, how beautiful the race shows off the hills of Tuscany, where so many great cyclists have been bred and sculpted throughout many generations. And what a place of Italian cultural history as well. To name but one example, here was the region the great Dante Alighieri was raised and wandered. And the race is finished, and to the hilltop historic city of Siena, a cultural and architectural jewel for centuries, to its very center, to the Piazza del Campo, where the illustrious Palio race takes place twice each year. Yes, the approach. Oh, surely it is in the discussion for greatest race finishes in cycling. Strada's Sienna finish is in the discussion for greatest finish for both its aesthetic beauty and dramatic final challenge. Under the 1 kilometer to go banner comes the gated entrance into the medieval part of the city. The streets are narrow and lined with medieval homes that are only a doorstep away from the race course climbing to the finish. Truly, look up a picture of the beautiful finishing ramp. Here were a people who avowed to adorn their city in breathtaking beauty on every block. May us moderns take note. But yes, I indeed say ramp, for the road pitches up for some 600 meters oh so steeply as it flies up to the piazza at the center of the hilltop. Ideally, the white gravel roads have done the majority of the damage already, but still the race comes down to the 16% pitches on this very final ramp of ramps that finishes the race. Hopefully, only 2 or 3 men are left, and finally, only one has the strength to break away from his competitors, to crest the top alone with some 500 meters to go. Then the leader shall weave his way through the last bits of divine, medieval, lovingly crafted city streets, while the other chasers scramble to close the gap if they have any strength left. But finally, the new champion then emerges in the last few hundreds of meters into the open Piazza del Campo, to the applause of the Sienese, who get to celebrate and add another hero to their distinguished honor roll. O Strade, how beloved you are! So beloved are thee, ye have become a classic after only a decade in existence. Yes, that is the last essential ingredient that all the other classics have. History. Strade Bianche cannot claim the long history like the other classics. Most have their dawn from the ashes of the post-war years or go back before the First Great War or even to the turn of the 19th century. And yet, here is Strade, acting not even as the youngest brother in the company of those other age classics, but masquerading as one of the elder statesmen. Yes, you have heard its most unofficial nickname, the Sixth Monument. Despite the relative complete lack of history, Strade is such a beloved spectacle, some wish to elevate it now to the same rank as the 5 monuments, the most prestigious single-day bike races in the world: Milano-San Remo, the Tour of Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and Ile-Lombardia, which have all run over 100 editions each. Personally, I accept the Sixth Monument nickname as a fun, completely unofficial title. And while I clearly see Strade as a classic despite its lack of history, as fun as it is to compare, surely there is no way it could possibly be considered a monument, despite all its admiration, which I myself also pour into it. To be a monument, the history is such a major requirement. Alas, they had not the idea for Strade Bianche a century ago. And a second reason that we cannot even entertain the monument idea is because though all the riders love this race and would desperately love to win it, no one has yet to ever peak for Strade Bianche. It is never anyone's top goal. It is simply a fun appointment before the Tirreno Adriatico stage race, which is part of the official lead-up to the first monument of the year, Milan-San Remo, that many riders have quadruple circled on their calendar. For goodness sakes, some riders are only making their season debut at Strade. Now, this peaking snare to the hypothetical monument pursuit could possibly be remedied if Strade were possibly to find a new position on the calendar. What if it returned to the autumn and became a duly coveted prize with Ile-Lombardia, have 2 crown jewels of autumnal classics? Or what if the organizers dared that heated August spot once again as they did in the 2020 coronavirus season? This was the race that ignited the shortened cycling season after many miserable dormant months of lockdowns. What an honor Strade and that year's victor, Wout van Aert, had to reopen the cycling calendar. I tell you, it had all the same trademarks of Fausto Coppi's 1946 Milan-San Remo that reopened the cycling world after the horrors of the Second World War. Yes, an August slot on the heels of the Tour where many classics riders come out with great form and still look for opportunities to make the most of it. Surely, if it is to increase its prestige, pursue a higher status than the classic it has masterfully become in only some 10 years, it shall need to carve out a new home on the calendar where it can be the great peak and not only a fun objective in the run-up to something more. But whether it is only a building up classic for the later monuments or one day it becomes a monument itself, surely, surely it shall always continue to be beloved. It is a race that the Cobbled Classics men, your Fabian Cancellara's and Dzenek Stebars, eye with top steps of podiums in mind, and sometimes they are foiled by men built for the Ardennes, like Michał Kwiatkowski and Julian Alaphilippe, who know how to handle a bike so skillfully and fine. And yet always, too, we see climbing stars of the Grand Tours trying to hold their own as well on the treacherous white roads that pitch up and down on the Tuscan hills. Yes, though all the racers have later objectives, still how much they all love to race this special race. All come away with another war story. All come away having put in a hard day's work. All come away wanting to come back next year. Yes, this is a race that highlights the greatest aspects of cycling. Thrilling racing in beautiful and historic places. The Tuscan hills and white roads make for such a beautiful challenge, and that final run-in into Siena is something special to be sure. Why did it take the Sienese so long to contrive such a predestined classic race? Ultimately, the answer does not so much matter, for now we have the race, and another classic installment shall be completed this very weekend. Long live the white roads! Viva la Strade Bianche! Alright, so hopefully that description gave you a good idea of what to expect Saturday. If you already know what the race is like, hopefully that fit the picture to your memory, or you just enjoyed it. If it doesn't match up, let me know. I want to hear your thoughts for sure. Alright, so anyways, I'm just going to run through the start list, see any names that catch my eye, and say, I don't know. Well, lots of these guys, anybody I name, I would probably be pretty fine with them winning, or what's the significance of it, whatnot. Anyways, probably just go over most of the favorites just to say their names, so that you're, in case you know or don't know or need to know. So let's see, who do we got? All right, so, first of all, I was looking at the radar, and by radar, I don't mean radar, I just mean Google. But Googled Siena weather. It was threatening rain earlier in the week. I don't think it is any longer, but let me just double check. And no, not getting rain on Saturday. Bummer. What's the percentage chance? Yeah, 10% chance. All right, we're not getting rain. Anyways, whenever it gets rain, that's when it gets, obviously, the wet editions, and that was wild. Back in 2018, I believe, was the wet one. So, yeah. Anyways, not getting that. All right, so first team up. It looks like they just went in alphabetical order for these numbers. All right, so AG2R, Greg Van Avermaet, very, very consistent in this race. Never won it. And last year just got cracked as soon as the dream selection was made. He could have made that, he had the opportunity to make it. He just literally could not ride with them, so he was dropped. And yeah, all right. Alpecin is missing a big name guy that has a van and a Dur and a pool in his name. And but Rob Stannard, might want to see what he can do. Switching over from Bike Exchange, the Australian. All right, Astana, Johnny Moscon. He had, the Muddy Roubaix. He was there in it to win it. Now he's with Astana, full team support. Then again, Superman Lopez is in his team. Not sure how much he ever rides for anybody else. Also interested to see what he could do on this, because he's got the mountain biking background. Let's see. Mohoric is a badass for Bahrain. I like Hausler. Other than that, I like Tratnik too. And I like Peo Bilbao. Bahrain, low-key, super, super likable team. Pretty awesome. All right, anyways. Moving on. Kamna might be a good shout for Bora. He's in good shape. Drone Hopper is such a not Italian-sounding name for Androni Giocattoli. I mean, Drone Hopper? What was he doing? Whatever. I guess they get Savio. He gets all the sponsors ever, so whatever. Valgren could be a good shout for EF. Then, yep, NES is the next big thing, because I didn't see anybody good on Groupon. Well, that's rude. I'm sorry. I didn't see any strong contenders on Groupama FGJ, though. Soft spot for Attila Valter. Attila the Hungarian. Anyways, then Ineos is a pretty strong team, I would have to say. So that, well, first headline name, Tom Pidcock. I would peg him as the race favorite myself. Carapaz is here. Carapaz, never say die. Pretty awesome. And Ecuadorian companion, who I love, Narvaez. Jonathan Narvaez. Oh, could this be somebody on Ineos' race? I don't know. All right. And then they also have Puccio's here, of course, because he's Italian. Ben Turner, I think, was racing with Pidcock in cyclocross, so he's good guy to have there. And then Carlos Rodriguez, I think, is one of those new hotshot, younger that I can't even handle, or not handle it. I just don't have brain power to store that away until he wins something significant. I can't keep track of all the up-and-comers. There's too many. All right, Intermarché, Quinten Hermans. He's got the one on his back. Like to see that. So Quinten Hermans could be a great or bigger consolation prize than missing the World Championships for cyclocross. I was super bummed for him when he missed that. So it'd be super cool to see him win the race. Cyclocrosser coming out, following the trend. Van Aert, Van der Poel. Who's going to be next? Pidcock or Hermans? I don't see any of the other big cyclocross guys here because, they're not entered. Right. Israel Premier Tech has Fuglsang. He was second to Alaphilippe when Alaphilippe won a couple years ago. So, I don't know. Is he too old, though? Is he too old? No. Fuglsang might be over the hill. He's got to do the Tour de France that starts in Denmark. And then other than that, I don't know. I don't know if he has anything left. Sorry. Jumbo-Visma, Tiesj Benoot. Oh, I had him circled as soon as I saw wet because he was obviously the one that won the infamous or revered Ghost Edition in 2018. But doesn't look like there's going to be rain, so I don't know. I guess, we'd put him as a second-tier favorite. Tom Dumoulin's here too. I believe Dumoulin's gone well enough here. He's been top 10 before. Maybe top 5. Probably not top 5. But anyways, interesting. Sepp Kuss too. Sepp Kuss has the mountain biking background as well. So I don't know. Any of those would be cool to see. Could be cool. Tim Wellens. Is it still early season enough for him to be going well? Victor Kampenaerts has been tearing it up the past week. I mean, that guy's aggressive and everything. Would love to see him go well here. He won that wet Giro stage last year. Could be pretty cool. Valverde's here. Almost didn't even notice him in the Movistar lineup. So, Valverde, hot hand. Just won the Gran Camino race and a stage of it last year. Strade, one of the few races he hasn't won. Would be pretty beautiful to see him win it. Big Al Philippe for Quick Step. And Asgreen's here too. Huh? Asgreen might be too hard for Asgreen. Anyways, Alaphilippe's got to be their guy. But then again, they should. And Mauro Schmid though. Mauro Schmid was the Quebecer rider that won the Strade stage at the Giro last year. So he's another one. Good shot there. But it's all about Julien Alaphilippe on this team, I would say. Not to say that everybody's going to work for him because they'll probably have pre-rain a bit. But Alaphilippe tied with Pidcock for favorite for the race, I would say. And, no Mighty Aces, no Van der Poel, no Van Aert. So this could be Alaphilippe's time to shine again here. Get a big win in the rainbow jersey. Barguil for Arkea Samsic. I don't know. He might just disappoint. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what Michael Matthews can do for Team Bike Exchange. I think this is too hard for him. Bardet for DSM. He was the one that was second in the rainy edition. He loves this race. He came to DSM so he could be a better one-day racer and have more fun. So I would put him not quite the first tier favorite, but top of the list for second tier maybe. And though I don't remember what he's done so far this season. So maybe not. If it rains, though. Brambilla, he's got I think Trek. They didn't go in alphabetical order. So Brambilla has the one for Trek. He had the heroic third place in 2016, working for Stibar, but then Cancellara still won. Anyways, Brambilla might be too old. I can't remember the last time Brambilla has done anything. And then finally, to close out, alphabetical order of teams, UAE, Tadej Pogacar is here. He's got to beat Alaphilippe, he's got to beat Pidcock, he's got to beat Bardet and Benoot if it's hard. But Pogacar, Tadej Pogacar, he's the Beowulf of this generation. This might just be his time to stomp his authority as well on Strade Bianche. I would dare claim he is a first-tier favorite with Alaphilippe and Pidcock, and this might just be the perfect time for him to win this race. He went well last year. Not as deep a competition. Yeah, I want to see it. Well, actually, I don't know if I want to see it, but anyways, yeah, if I was actually what am I doing? Am I picking with my head or my heart when I say Tadej Pogacar is going to win this? I think actually more my head, honestly. But yeah, Tadej Pogacar, I guess, for the win. And that'll wrap up this preview, or maybe lack thereof. Up to you to decide. Anyways, that's Strada. Recap's coming soon. Thanks for listening, everybody. Subscribe to the shows, leave comments, 5-star reviews. Vive la Sequoia.